I just got that. You can't see us dancing because you're just a guest streamer. That is kind of the hit that's taken over the streets. Welcoming back senior WynnBET. I haven't talked to you in about a week. I haven't had to bug you at all this week through text or anything. Years. I haven't talked in a while, but another fun weekend of football. Football was wild. College football was wild. A good team lost. The real good team's never going to lose again because they have the greatest defense ever put together
in the history of
football.
Correct.
But another college week upon us, another NFL week upon us, and WynnBET's senior trader Motoi Pearson here to
what's going on?
Dump some knowledge. Yeah, dump some knowledge in your ears. He's going to tell you what you need to know about the markets and what he needs, because usually just bet what Mo needs. Like, that has worked out well for me. Cincinnati, you needed the Patriots at one time. Everything's worked out good. But yeah, let's fire right into some college, because at the end we have some NBA. We're about to add some sports. NBA is ticking. College basketball is like 3 weeks away. We are dangerously close to having some more sports. Dump some knowledge in some people's ears. Texas, Oklahoma. I'm not even showing a 4 at some places now. I'm showing a 3.5. Are you going to keep following that? This was a 6 on the opener. The total's pretty much set put. Are you just getting Cowboy money?
Yeah, no, we've gotten Cowboy money earlier, as soon as, essentially when we opened. But we opened like the highest in the market. We were 6.5, total 60. Not much action on the total, but we've been taking a stand on Texas. Our power rankings agree on how good Texas is. And they proved in a few of the games, even, unfortunately that loss to Arkansas where they started Hudson Card. But we've been pretty happy with how Casey Thompson's been playing. And, without the emergence of this Caleb Williams kid, it seems like they would have had a pretty healthy win there in the Cotton Bowl deal. Playing in the Cotton Bowl. But
should we call it the Cotton Bowl deal?
No, it's not. I just made that up. I just pulled that out of thin air. But, we still respect Texas enough in our power rankings, me and Lindy. No disrespect to Oklahoma State, who's been kind of getting by, and they're undefeated. Obviously we respect Gundy, but, we want to stay high on Texas going forward.
Just no action on this total, though, even though the dog is continuing to take some cash. I guess it's not as indicative of, I don't know. I would think the people that are betting Oklahoma State are just really down on the Texas defense as well, and this total would go up, but not taking any cash. I saw 60.5 in the market. Hasn't really moved. All right, I guess we'll cheer for, who am I cheering for? Texas?
Yeah, we need Texas. We're going to need Texas for everything. So you're involved now. Congratulations.
That doesn't feel good at all. All right, down to the big boy leagues. The SEC, the Southeastern Conference. Heisman hopeful?
Yeah, I think you trashed Corral. Not too.
I did trash
conversation
Corral.
Between me and you.
I think it's still tough. It's tough for him to win. I guess there's other forces at nature. There's other forces at factor. What happened to Alabama kind of changes things, obviously. But Heisman hopeful, Matt Corral heading to. Is it Knoxville? Is that where we're playing?
Yeah.
Knoxville take on Tennessee, laying 3 on the road. This was 1-2 that looks like you're taking the road money again.
Yeah, so I think eventually it might just be me taking the stand on Ole Miss, but Tennessee's played South Carolina and Mizzou, and they look good doing it. Scored a bunch of points. Josh Heupel seems like he's got that team, buzzing on offense. Which is fair, and we respect that. But they're going to see a team that they're going to, Ole Miss is going to match them in talent. They gave up 1,000 points to Arkansas anyway. Which Arkansas is a pretty legit team we've seen. Before that Georgia game, unfortunately. But everyone's losing, by 30 to Georgia. But the total in this is 82.5. You got to essentially score on every drive in a game like this, and I'm seeing Ole Miss, getting the better of it and winning this by a touchdown or so.
Yeah, I was gonna say what kind of pace are these? And you're, don't show me how the meat's made. Don't show me how the sausage is completely made. But like when you guys set totals like this, are you just having to go along with the market, or you can't set these any lower? You're gonna take action. Like this seems like this has been bet up into the 80s.
I
Like
think
the pace is there.
I think the number that we had, when we threw this up, when the market was essentially up for a bit on Sunday, we had like 78 and a half, something like that. So, I mean, it was pretty high regardless, but to get past 80 to like 82 and a half, where we kind of got pushed up now, it's pretty interesting. But, any of those questions, Lindy can handle those total questions for me, better than I can.
I might have to get a quote from him. I'm gonna text him for a quote. We might get it because once you cross everybody knows that 80 is 11 touchdowns and a field goal. Once you cross 80, the key number of 80, you've delved into dangerous territory.
It's a lot of points. I mean, just scoring points in general is tough, but 11 touchdowns is ridiculous.
Yeah, it just takes like one bad quarter. This is like an NBA total that one of these NBA totals that you end up in like the 240s. It's like just one bad shooting cold stretch. A couple of your shooters end up getting like some weird foul trouble, and it's just dead. So yeah, I might take an under. I'll be covering by 83 right off the get go. That doesn't feel so bad.
I'm not mad at it.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. All right, sticking to the South. LSU, Florida, and what would have been normally a pretty good game. Now we have a bad LSU team who's getting worse with multiple defensive injuries, more defensive injuries. It's not getting any better there in Baton Rouge. Florida coming in as an 11-point favorite. I didn't even look at what happened to this market because I don't care about this game. Oh shit, Florida gets every road team's just getting steam. What are we doing here?
Yeah, no,
did you just open bad numbers or what?
Well, it was. I think we opened 9. And the market was a little bit over that, but we didn't take like any bets, which was weird. Here's the dynamic. Like we didn't want to, we knew LSU was bad and it was kind of rough on how they played against Kentucky. So, we weren't ready to give up on them yet. Being at home, it's not like a big time, start time for them, for the fans either. It's not like it's a prime time game or anything like that. I think it's like an 11 o'clock start Pacific time, somewhere around there. But with LSU's best offensive player leaving their receiver, Booty, who I think had 9 receiving touchdowns, right up there and leading the country in touchdowns there as a receiver. But, losing Stingley the week before and then losing a couple other key pieces on defense. I mean, Orgeron seems like, he's having a tough time keeping the team together. And we just kind of essentially moved the lineup just on, the fact that LSU seems like they're kind of, going in the tank right now for guys that can actually play football.
Yeah, it might get worse before it gets better down there for
LSU.
That's
what we think. I mean, Florida's obviously legit too, so it's not like they're gonna take this game lightheartedly no matter who plays. So just on both sides of the fact where Florida's legit, they haven't been really talked about, and then LSU is kind of a dumpster fire.
Yeah, and Florida still has a decent shot at a good bowl game. I mean, they're still an SEC team that's ranked right now.
I mean, they still got Florida. They got Georgia coming up, so that should be a good one.
Yeah, but maybe. It'll be interesting to see. And we talked about that's funny. We don't have Georgia on the slate today because nobody wants. I guess, hey, we'll talk about that market. We opened Georgia and it got bet to piss. Like across 21, up through 20, or it was 21. It bet up to like 24 and a half now. Georgia's good. Like
I think we actually went back down. The market kind of is agreeing with. There's some type of action on Kentucky because we're back at 21 now. We're not seeing much bets on Georgia unless they're the smaller parlayed bets, but. I think we got up to at least 22 and a half before we went back. So, yeah, they bet Georgia immediately when that line came out.
It's funny. It's funny you had some resistance. It's a lot of points, too. But, yeah, the implied team total for Kentucky in that one is like 10. So maybe my little plan about just betting team total unders might be dead when I have to start betting them in the single digits. Yeah, and Andy ain't going to be placing that under 9.5 points for a college football team. Sure. Even if it is against Georgia. And obviously Kentucky's not that good. They beat everybody on the schedule and they're undefeated and they got some nice wins. But this is a hell of a challenge. The pros. We'll go to the pros because there's not much. My Gophers probably going to lose at home, get embarrassed, no offense. Talked about that this morning. Probably won't even watch that. Might just take the family out on Saturday, hunker down Sunday for the games I like. Arizona Cleveland's been a weird push-pull as far as news. The information in this one has been nuts. Like the injuries for Cleveland, and then Arizona has COVID, and now it's back to Chubb is out, and then you had the wide receiver was going to come back off the IR for Cleveland. So it was like the news kept bouncing back and forth, and I've seen this market kind of ricochet back and forth. I don't know what do you take? Where'd you open this at, by the way?
I think we opened 2.5 20 or 2.5 flat, and then we ended up getting the 20 on Browns. So it's very interesting to see how that kind of worked, because as the market continued to rise up and with the news coming out, in favor of the Browns, whatever you put up as the Cardinals as a dog, because they're the most popular, we were going to see money on them no matter what. So, we were kind of getting hammered on Cardinals, especially in Arizona. No surprise there. So, a lot of these people are blindly betting Cardinals, regardless of what the news is. But we've seen some respected action to get us from 2.5 minus 20 to 3 minus 15, and I think we're at minus 3 minus 15 right now. So I think we're kind of comfortable where we're at in the bets we've taken, with all the news that's been put into this game.
So it's funny, you're going to need Cleveland here.
Well, we don't know yet, because we're
not quite sure. You're still getting enough
Cardinals bets, because we know they're going to get there. But I mean, if we get enough respected bets on Browns, and a lot of guys in our room like Browns, we would like to win to them on Sunday.
Yeah, I like the Browns here a lot. And out of everything that they're talking about, I think the least talked about thing for some reason is Kyler Murray's shoulder injury. And Drew and I have hammered on that through the preseason and into this year too. That's just do you remember when the Cardinals started to suck last year? It's when Kyler Murray hurt his shoulder and he stopped running the ball so much, just because they wouldn't let him run the ball as much, and that offense went to poop. So I'm not saying the Cardinals are suddenly going to be a bad team, but they are not.
But I mean, this is something
they're not the same offense.
History repeating itself, essentially.
I've seen this. I've seen it.
I've seen this before in a lifetime of mine.
There's a couple of really good matchups this week, and we thought we'd get one with KC Buffalo last week, but my Buffalo Bills just ran their asses over. Maybe the greatest offense. We're going to see them up there with the 98 Vikings, 99 Rams, 07 Patriots. What was the most?
07, I think 07 Patriots.
07 Patriots. That sounds right.
50 touchdowns for Tom, something like that.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's a Broncos season in there too.
Maybe 2013 Broncos.
13, 14, somewhere in there.
I think it was 13.
Yeah. 13 sounds right. But we're gonna put the 21 Bills right in there. This offense is fun.
Jesus Christ.
Chargers, Baltimore. This is another one right around the 3. And I have an opinion on this. I'm getting a lot of shit for my Chargers number in the market this week. I have the Chargers. I kind of have this on market, actually. And the Chargers' schedule does get a lot easier. I do believe Chargers are going to continue to move up in my rankings. And it certainly is from a power number standpoint, because they're good, especially if you do what you it's kind of hard to explain to some people about power rankings. Like if you do exactly what is expected of you and no more, you're not going to move up. Like you proceeded to satisfy the market conditions, and you do not deserve a bump unless other teams deserve a bump down, and then you'll move up in relative to them. Like sure. The Chargers have not done that. They got 4 turnovers handed to them in Kansas City. And really, I didn't give them a good game grade. They should have won by more. I like the Chargers. I'd love to see Herbert win the MVP. But I have them where I have them right now. And it is, of course, as a dog to Baltimore. What were you getting here? I think this opened Baltimore heavier. Are we taking Chargers money at the win shop?
Yeah, we opened Ravens 350, and then it's kind of went down a little bit. Not much action or respected action we've seen. Just enough money to kind of put us to where we're at in market. It was the total why I wanted to bring this up, just to kind of see how the Chargers played, against the Browns in like a fallacy of an 89-point game. At the Chargers defense, the wheels kind of fell off. They were going for it like on 4th and 5 from their own 30 because they couldn't stop Cleveland. It was insane to watch, that game towards the end. And we ended up needing the Chargers. So, this is on a personal side, considering I remember that game so vividly. But it's funny how that worked out, because I think, in that Chargers-Browns game, the steam side was the under, so just kind of how that ended up.
It was a bunch of sharp money on that under, and it got steamed out. I knew people on it. I agreed with it. I'm glad I didn't do anything about it financially because that was dead from Jump Street.
I mean, I think
as the second half went on, it just became more laughable.
They could have been ahead of their time for the guys that steamed, because like the public side, and I know, going towards the before kick of this game is everyone's betting the over. It's been bet from 50 to 51.5 through the key number. And I think we're just going to continue to see just a downpour of over money, and, Ravens coming back on that Monday game. I mean, you just see things like that just in the moment for a lot of people that are betting recreationally. I mean, this is something where I think, it kind of steers or it looks over, and then, this thing could be like a 17-14 type of game. So, I definitely agree on the line where it's at right now. The Chargers had a real tough schedule up until this point, and they're facing a pretty legit opponent who, I like teams that come off of wins like that and, have to go home and play, competent opponents. So I don't mind the line where we're at now, but the total is something I know, I just wanted to tell everyone, if you're betting over it, you're going to be on the 95% of people that are going to be betting this thing.
Yeah, I'm tempted by this under, especially in Baltimore and how their game plan might go.
I agree.
What you've seen from Baltimore in the last few weeks is oh my God, their passing game is competent. It's working. And if I were, the Chargers have a very good secondary, I would work to shut that down. Make them. It's funny, how little time it has been since we said, make the Ravens beat you through the air. They can't do it. Lamar can't throw. And here I am on the 15th of October, 2021, year of our Lord, saying, make the Ravens beat you on the ground. Because they're on their ninth running back. I mean, everybody got hurt. It's funny.
It's incredible. I mean, with the team, there's so much things.
And you have the secondary to do it.
Just how they're winning is insane to me. Them being 4-1 is pretty wild.
Yeah, it is. Both of these teams have had some oddity to the season to start so far. The Cowboys loss for the Chargers was probably one that shouldn't have been. The refs were pretty rough to them there, and they, some self-inflicted stuff too. Speaking of those Dallas Cowboys, my favorite NFC offense.
All right.
I like them.
You could probably put them in the same category of one of the greater offenses in the history of our time. It'd probably be 21 Bills, 21 Cowboys, and then the 97 Rams. Or 99 Rams. I think it's
98 Vikings.
No, they're okay. They didn't win the Super Bowl, so they're out.
Yeah, I mean, but that was just a weird Falcons thing, and the Falcons aren't a real franchise.
I seen it all. I seen it.
I did. That was a fun team. Sorry, Dan. Dallas took money. This look ahead was one. Opened higher than that. Took money. Getting bet back down. You're seeing even threes in the market now. Some money coming back down on them. And then, of course, the total has also been bet up. I want to say 48.5 for an opener. A couple points ticked up there as well.
Exactly.
Feed.
Yeah, we opened 3 flat, and then we're at 315. So, this is one of those things as a bookmaker where, we all agree on Patriots, but we took enough Cowboys money to kind of get brought up with the market too much. And then, seeing enough respected Patriots bets where we were well, this is kind of a blunder on our end. So, we're still, I think we lose to the Pats a little bit, which is kind of, unfortunate on our end, but, we're waiting to take the Cowboys public money, before kick on Sunday.
And I'm strictly in that public. I took the Cowboys. My power numbers just are off on this. I still make this I still make it a 6.
Do you have the
even
Cowboys,
on the road
as a 7-point neutral favorite to the Bucs? Is that what your power rankings say?
No such thing as home field this year.
Oh yeah,
I'm down under. I'm down under a point for everybody almost.
Okay.
There's some teams that have less than that. No, I'm not mad at that. It's certainly not 2. I've seen people using 2.1. That's too much. No, I do have the Cowboys 6.5 better on a neutral right now. I don't have a ton of respect. I know. Okay. I'm starting. I explained this on the deep dive the other night, and a lot of it is because I'm struggling to use a prior for Dallas. When you use a prior from Dallas's 2020 season, is that what you want to do? You want to just take stats and numbers and any sort of eye test from a team that was half the team was injured including the quarterback, the whole offensive line, and some receivers. Like that wasn't that has no indication of how Dallas will play this year. So maybe I'm ahead of the market. I don't know. Maybe I'm way behind.
For me, it's the defense is playing much better than I thought. Like that's
a big part of it.
Yeah, that was we already knew when Dak and the rest of the offense was healthy, they were going to be legit. Especially after a year of kind of like practicing with each other. But the defense is like that's the real surprise. And if they continue that, I mean, there's
2 or 3 pieces that are playing like crazy well, and the rest of are picking up the slack. And the defense was horrid last year.
Oh my God!
So getting anything out of them, anything out of them. They
had to score 50 to win games. Like it was unreal from what I've seen.
All right. Should we even do FCS Corner? Are you gonna bring shame to you and your family?
Just give me one more chance, and then we'll go from there. I think I'm like 2-2. Give me a break. The rest of the FCS week was great, but obviously the one I gave out is like the mortal loser. So it only makes sense.
Mortal lock for the books. I'm beginning to question your loyalties. Like, was that were you taking too much Paladin money and you needed to entice some Wofford cash?
I had to dump it off real quick, of course. Yeah.
That is certainly not ever a thing for anybody. I would never accuse you of such shenanigans because Lord knows you're not taking it. Do you even book that? Yeah, you do. You guys have FCS props.
Yeah, we do.
FCS futures.
We have
All right. Kennesaw State hosting the NCANT Bulldogs. I have no idea what their mascot is. I just guessed. That's certainly not
Aggies. It is the Bulldog.
I want to say Aggies.
Yeah, Aggies is the one. Aggies
Kennesaw
Owls.
The Kennesaw State Owls, obviously. -10, total 55. What is the FCS lock of the week of the century this week?
I mean, this thing opened 13 in lands that we cannot discuss, and it's been bet down to 10. And this is a side I like. NCANT, who's been pretty legit up into this spot, and this is a pretty big Big South matchup because Monmouth has been terrible this year. So these two teams look like they're going to take the reins to win it. This is a homecoming game for Kennesaw State, so they're going to be going wild. And I don't care about that. I just care about what the number is. And, I made this thing around like 6 or 7. So, even 10 right now is something that I would take. I think it's going to be a real close game. I think NCANT can possibly win it. They just got to, control the triple option. Kennesaw State's pretty legit on the ground, but, offensively, NCANT can score pretty well. So, look out for this team to possibly win this game straight up and to ruin their homecoming.
Yeah, I'll probably be teasing this out to 16, total over 49.
I like it.
What you should always be doing. Teasing
with,
FCS.
You got to put it together with the Pats. That'll be the winner.
I'm on the Cowboys, but
no, this will be fine though.
It'll be fine. Find yourself a nice little middle. All right, we're gonna cruise on over to the hardwood. We haven't done this yet this year because you know what, there hasn't been any, and I'm not going to sit here and talk about preseason NBA markets. That's just not something that's going to happen in my life. Although we missed an opportunity on the other night. Dan alerted me to that. It's like, hey, the Hawks are playing starters and the Heat aren't, and they're going to win by 1 million, and it's the third quarter. Like, oh yeah, I should pay a little more attention to the preseason because sometimes there are things like that. But NBA fires up on Tuesday, and you guys over at WynnBET have done some. I'll let you tell me about it. Tell me about this. How many are there in total? These season-long prop bets.
I think we made 18 of the 75th anniversary props. Dedicating this to the legends from the past and the greater players from today. But, this is an idea from AB. He kind of hit me up, I think maybe a month and a half ago about, this thing being pretty important to, not just the us as WynnBET, but, giving an ode to the NBA, which is, gained enough popularity for something like this to be, a pretty big deal in the sports betting world.
Yeah, the NBA is popular. It's one of the most popular basketball leagues, I'd say. Top 3 up there with EuroLeague. I like EuroLeague, but NBA is pretty good. Man. It's easier to watch the NBA. It's on TV over here. You have Thursday night TNT. Let's talk about a couple of these props. I am no way, shape, or form going to go over 18 of these with you. I just don't have the time. You don't have the time. We're busy men, but these are kind of fun. And you picked out a few you really liked. I'll let you just run me through these, and I'll tell you who wins. And this one's easy.
Of course. Yeah, no, this is, between the ones that we actually did, most are based off like the career points per game or points per game, assists, so on and so forth between the matchups that we have. And, the one that we're going to talk about now was a pretty interesting one because it's kind of out of the realm of that. It was, an idea that me and a couple of the guys had in the room of Isaiah Thomas. We wanted to find some of the bigger games a lot of these legends had instead of kind of doing a points per game type of deal. And, if anybody remembers the 88 finals, my dad's a big fan of the Lakers. And I told him about this, and he remembered Isaiah Thomas's 25-point game, which was awesome. And we wanted to find someone to pair him up with, and we thought Damian Lillard was the guy on Portland and could possibly catch fire in a quarter. So we put this together, and we priced it up the best we could, to get you what we have now. Thomas minus 1,800 to win that, and then Lillard plus 650 to get to the 25 points.
So I'm gonna just lay the 1,800, and then I just have to sweat out like 73, 75 games or so. He'll sit a few. Just can't have 25. What if it's scored more than? So this is 25.5 then. Technically, it's more than 25. You have
correct. It's more than 25. Yeah.
Oh, I feel
we're not really looking
that
for
now. That price is actually off then.
But yeah, over 25 is the move.
All right. So a lot of these are just you have the Oscar Robertson points, rebounds, and assists average that season versus Russell Westbrook's this year and stuff like that. But these ones are a little more fun. You can catch one of these in one game. Like people are already calling. Your ass was getting called out about the Steph Curry number.
Yeah, no, here's the confusion. I'm glad we're talking about this. In the actual matchup, there's a handicap, so it's minus 4.5 of the 7 that Larry Bird scored. So it's actually 11.5 and not 7. I actually had to tell another reporter this earlier because he's like, I don't know if this price is correct, and I'm like, oh no, it's a handicap. He needs to hit at least 12 threes. So it's 7, and then there's a handicap on the 4.5.
I was going to say the 7 threes. He's going to do that 3 times the first week. He's
going to hit that in that first game against the Lakers. He's going to have 9 threes.
He's going to have that in halftime in some of these games for sure. So, all right, let's talk about another one of these because I'm just laying it with Thomas minus 1,800. No big deal. I'll run this one. Shaquille O'Neal, Shaq. Yeah, if you remember him of Shaq-a-Roni fame.
I've heard of him once or twice.
His points. It's the good pizza. I always see that he's in every commercial now. If you kids don't remember Shaq, he's the big guy that's in every freaking commercial right now. But this is from my heyday. I saw him at the Mall of America one time, going to Planet Hollywood when I was 10. That's my Shaq story. He was still with and Horace Grant was there. He had the glasses.
Did he have the shades or the?
He was not wearing the rec specs. They were not in. It wasn't like they were going to a game.
You've probably seen someone else.
No, it was for sure that. I mean, they were enormous. I was a 10-year-old. So Shaq's rebounds per game plus points per game from the 99-00 season, which was 43.5, versus Giannis. I don't do his last name. Points per game plus rebounds a game in this season. And this one's a little closer. You have Shaq minus 165, Giannis a plus 45 dog here. What was Giannis's best season?
Oh man, when we crunched the numbers, I wasn't really memorizing his actual best season, but considering where we had it right now and how close it is as far as where we got the splits at, we respected Giannis enough to at least be right there to reach the Diesel's average in that year, and he dominated. I mean, we thought it was awesome that a guy like Giannis, who is probably the most dominant big man in the league right now, and big men aren't as prolific as they were back in the day. To have someone like Shaq and Giannis paired together, we thought it was pretty cool because just of Giannis actually getting to that average of what Shaq did in 99, 2000 there.
Last year, he was around 39, but the year before, he was really close to this. He was just over 43. So this is doable. I'm going to take Giannis here. I'm taking Giannis plus 45. Just it's revenge season. Also, I just don't feel like this probably has a super high limit, so you're not going to kill me on this.
Exactly. Yeah, you got it. You got it figured out.
3 dimes on that. I have 18 on the other one already, so this could turn out bad for me. All right, the last one. Because again, there's 18 of these, but this is another fun, close one, and you actually pick guys that are on the same team.
Yeah. This was exactly. Yeah, this it's like the perfect ode to he's the guy handing him the torch, and Dirk was one of the the best in the league for years. on it, and we're going to see that with Luka for like the next 20, depending on how long he plays. So, this guy's a prolific scorer. It seems like he's going to be doing that for the Mavs for a while, and it was cool to find it's not like Dirk scored 71 in a game or 70 in a game. Like 50 points at this point, especially for Luka, is definitely doable, and it was something that we were happy to price and happy to promote. So we're kind of leaning Luka in something like this because it could be a big MVP year for him. We actually have him favored to win our MVP this year. But it's pretty cool to have a prop like this for people to get involved with, just to see Luka play all year.
Yeah, and this is interesting that you have Luka favored because his highest, he would need to. Would you grade a push on this? If they scored 53, would you push total?
Man, that we'll probably have to go through that. I mean, I want people to win on something like this. So I mean, if he gets to it, we'll figure out if we want to pay everyone.
You should have you should just pay people if he gets to 53 exactly.
Yeah, we're not in the business of taking pushes on these anyway, so we'll be paying people for stuff like this. It's just good fun anyway that they're betting it.
I'm going to talk to the boys down there and see if we can lower this to 52.5 after the fact. Regrade.
We might do it for you like maybe 10 minutes before the first game.
Luka's highest scoring single game in the NBA, Motoi, is
49,
46, and yet he's favored.
I got something's going on with the 96 in my brain.
He did score 48, obviously, in that Slovenia's win over Argentina in the Olympics. So he has been closer than this, but it's interesting you have a favorite here. So any of those, you can check them all out over at WynnBET and maybe we'll take a look at some of these after the season, just see how bad you got beat up.
Sure. We'll definitely revisit that, guaranteed, no matter what. Yeah.
I'm down with that. So, all right, I'm going to let you get back to – do you still got to work today?
Yeah, I'm going to be working forever for the rest of my life.
Same here. I know, but it's always earlier for you. It's still the middle of the day.
For the island. We'll get the island soon.
We'll get there. We just got to crush FCS this weekend. Probably crush NFL, even though I'm public Andy on the Cowboys. Again, maybe it's either public Andy or way ahead of the market Andy. We don't know yet. So
we'll get to it next week.
We'll get it. We'll figure it out. Well, we'll revisit that one for sure next week. So thank you to WynnBET. Thank you to Alan Berg for letting us borrow Motoi for a little bit. Thank you for Matt Lindemann for making the numbers. And thanks for Mo for being the face of the company here.
Shout out to Dan for getting mad at me that I haven't brought my headphones in yet too. So I do apologize.
I'm the one who gets mad. Dan,
you're out. Dan's in.
That's funny. You threw him. He's getting thrown under the bus so much this week. All right, let's crank the tunes, hit the music. We'll be back. We'll do this again next Friday. Hit us with.